I'm Catherine Goshen, a professional astrologer from the village of Nyack in New York State, and I'm passionate about in-depth astrology and getting to the heart of the matter. In this video, I want to talk about archetypes, and in particular the archetypal planet which rules each of your charts. And archetypes are something that we respond to very deeply as human beings. And this particular archetype gets to the very heart of the matter because it's not related to our sun or our moon. It's related to our ascendant. And the planet that rules the ascendant is said to rule the whole chart. The ancients would call it the Lord or Lady of the chart. And before we get going on that, I'm already thinking that I'll divide this video into two parts. So today we'll probably get to discuss the Mercury, Venus, and Mars archetypes. And then I'll release another video later where we discuss the rest of the archetypes: Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and that's it. So welcome to all the new subscribers here. Before we get going with the video, it's wonderful to have you. It's a pleasure to be growing this channel, and I always welcome new ideas for videos. So at the moment, I'm going deeply into astrology that I feel is relevant to you, to your chart, and you are welcome to post ideas. So let's get going on archetypes. In order to get the most out of this video, you will need to know your rising sign. And most of you know your rising sign or ascendant simply as a sign. For example, my ascendant is Aries, or my rising sign is Taurus. What we need to look at today, and it's taking it one step further, is we're going to take that sign and we're going to see which planet rules it. And that will be your planetary archetype. Because planets love to be people. And there are so many ways to look at a chart. And one of those ways is that each of the planets in your natal chart is somebody in your life, and you are also in that chart, and you are a multi-dimensional being. You have a mind shown by Mercury, you have a way of socially relating to people shown by Venus, you have a way of taking action shown by Mars, and so on and so forth. You also have your sun, which is your core, central, solar energy that you came into this lifetime to express. And then you have your moon, which is more a reflective symbol of how you respond to stimuli in this world, your habits, your emotional patterns, often gained in the early home through a maternal influence. There is another part to you that is central, and that is the planet which rules your ascendant. And astrologers as far back as Porphyry in the 3rd century were pointing to the fact that as you draw your first breath, your ascendant is set, and the helmsman or planet which rules that ascendant gets on board and becomes you, your driving force, your archetypal nature in this lifetime. So let's begin, and as I go through it, it will become clearer to you how it works. If your rising sign is Aries or Scorpio, your archetype is going to be ruled by Mars, because Mars has its masculine or positive expression in Aries, and it has its feminine or negative expression in Scorpio. So we use these words to show an active and a passive expression of the one planet. If your ascendant is Aries or Scorpio, Mars is the planet which rules your chart. And your archetypal nature is going to be the warrior, the athlete, the healer, the mystic. And it is not sign specific. So in other words, if you have Scorpio rising, you may be the warrior in a certain context. If you have Aries rising, you may be the healer in another context. And how do we know where and how this planetary archetype is going to express? You need to look at the sign that your ruling planet is in. So what sign is Mars in, which will show you how you express your archetypal nature. And you can also look at which house Mars is in, which will show you where you will express your archetypal nature and where you need to express your archetypal nature, because this is the chart that you chose when you were born. If you have Taurus or Libra rising, your archetypal nature will be of a diplomat or a harmonizer, because you have Venus as the ruler of your chart. We could say that Venus is the lady of your chart, and she is in charge of who you are in this lifetime. People with Taurus or Libra rising are coming here to fulfill the archetype of the diplomat, of the harmonizer, of someone who is making peace in whatever way. Venus ruled people, how do you need to express your loving, diplomatic, harmonizing nature? How you express it will be seen by the sign that Venus is in. And of course, because we have such a wide range of 12 signs, you're going to express that nature in a whole gamut, from very peaceful to not so peaceful. You can get some very, very tough Libra and Taurus rising individuals who are not going to be pushovers at the negotiating table. Where do you need to express that archetypal nature, Taurus and Libra rising? You're going to look to the house where that planet Venus is in your special chart. And that will guide you as to where you are going to fulfill the primary motivation of your chart. And if you are new to this and you've just printed out your chart, if you don't have a copy of your chart, I suggest you go to astro.com. You can put in your birth details. You will need your time of birth in order to get a chart. Print it out, and there will be a small box under the chart, and it will say ASC, which stands for Ascendant. And you will see the sign that your ascendant is in, and then you will listen to this video, part 1 of part 2, and you will find your archetypal planet. Then you need to find the sign that that planet is in and the house that that planet is in. So let's talk now about those of you who have Gemini and Virgo rising. Gemini and Virgo rising individuals are ruled by the planet Mercury. Mercury is the lord of your chart, and you are the archetypal communicator, translator, also possibly a craftsman. And please remember that man in craftsman is not a gender-specific term. We are talking about manual here. It comes from the Latin. Manual means hands, as in manual labor. So a craftsman is a man or woman or an individual who does work with their hands, and work that is fine and work that is produced and crafted. And it doesn't matter if you're Gemini or Virgo, you will find your archetype in that range of images. The server is another image of a Mercury ruled chart person, because think of Hermes. He was going up and down between Mount Olympus and Earth. He was the messenger of the gods. And Mercury-based people often find themselves in service roles. They are helping to smooth the wheels of communication and taking messages to and from. The Mercury archetype is also the trickster. And this comes up in a lot of mythology, worldwide mythology. So there is a flexibility to this Mercury archetype. And if you want to go deeper into where you are meant to be expressing yourself fully, look at the sign your Mercury is in. That is telling you how you need to communicate, your mindset, what you need to work on. And the house is going to tell you where you will best fulfill this role as craftsman or translator or communicator. It's an incredibly broad archetype and very, very relevant in this world that we're moving towards of complete interactive communication on a global level. Now, so often we get caught up in this sun sign astrology, and that's because it's been thrown at us since we were small. And what I love about this technique is that it really orientates you as to what you've come here to do and your personality in a way that you are meant to put on like a cloak and to go forth into the world, because each of us have a role. And the ascendant is showing how we fulfill that role in the world. So yes, we have a sun, we have a moon, we have all these planets, but the ascendant is very, very orientated towards action in the world. How we are at home in our private bedroom with the door closed is very different to how we operate when we are out in the world, at work, doing our thing. And this ruler of the ascendant is guiding us as to where and how we need to express what we've come here to do. Mars-ruled chart people are meant to be self-motivated. They're meant to be energized, authoritative, sometimes restless. If they have to hang around doing nothing, it's frustrating for them. And that may express very differently in a Scorpio rising to an Aries rising. But either way, you are going to feel that drive. And if that drive is not being fulfilled, there's going to be frustration. For Venus ruling archetypes, these people tend to be stable and enjoy pleasure and very generous. So they don't need to run on such a high octane fuel, and you'll feel that steady vibration coming out from them. And you feel this with Libra people too. There is always this sense of the wish to create harmony. So if you're a Libra or a Taurus rising and your life is currently totally chaotic, your goal over the next few years is to get on track so that you can create harmony and stability in your surroundings. Because when you have that for yourself, you radiate it out into the world and you influence everyone else that is in your circle. And this is your core archetype. you're good at doing that, and you're meant to be the one at the negotiating table. You're meant to be the lover. You're meant to be the diplomat. So how can you bring that more into your life? And finally, if you are the Mercury archetype, your nature is versatility, and there may even be a tendency towards perfectionism. So embrace that. It's who you are. And it's fine if you are moving around from thing to thing. And, you know, you might have a parent who is a Mars archetype and they want you to be more sticking to one thing. You're not like that. You're versatile, and you need to embrace taking on a lot of different projects, finding out what works for you, and then going forth. And don't fight that perfectionism. We all have something that we need to work with, and a tendency towards perfectionism is fine if it doesn't get out of hand. So I will continue with the other archetypes in the next video, and I wish you all well, and I'll see you next time.